Resurgence over a Thragtusk, and I believe that's the only change from last week. Now, last week, Chris VanMeter actually won the Star City Open in Somerset, New Jersey, and Braun-Duin played the same 75. They went together and played the same deck. Brian went 0-2. So basically, polar opposite results, and I had a lot of fun digging at Brian all week about it. But yeah, both good friends. This is going to be fun to watch. So they are going to Game 3. Can we figure out who's on the play? Sure. All right, we'll get that for you in just a moment. I don't think either of them are mulliganing, but yeah.
Yep, Chris defeated Owen Turtenwald in the finals last week in Somerset. That was an exciting match.
Yeah, especially because Owen actually ended up winning the team event the next day, so he got second place into winning, along with Huey Jensen and Reed Duke. It was a great team, all-star SCG team. Gonna be looking forward to watching those guys play at the Pro Tour. It looks like Chris VanMeter is going to be on the play. I really wish, can we change their names to BBD and CVM on the screen? that would be sweet. But yeah.
People might know them better that way.
Yeah, maybe. That's basically what I call them in my articles all the time. So yeah, so I think both players here are looking to do the same kind of thing. You know, they want to accelerate into an early Fiend Hunter, and that kind of chain that into an Acidic Slime. Fiend Hunter being particularly good against mana creatures, because even if you're able to unlock, you know, your mana creature from the Fiend Hunter, it's a little late. You know, like you're going to be able to maybe kill it, get back a mana, but at that point you've already lost like a turn or two of not having access to that mana accelerator. And if your opponent is able to capitalize on that mana advantage, they're just going to start chaining Angel Serendities before you're able to, and that's just going to put the game away.
Right. So with Chris on the play, how much should it, well, I guess my real question is, how much of an advantage does the play have here?
I think it has a lot, but I mean, it can go either way. It really just depends on the draws from both sides. I mean, Chris can have a no mana guy draw, and then having the play is mostly irrelevant, or even invalidated by a multiple mana accelerated draw from Brian. If Brian's able to go mana creature into Acidic Slime, and Chris just doesn't have a mana accelerator, then that's basically game over. But if Chris has, you know, a solid opener with a mana accelerator as well as an Acidic Slime or even a Fiend Hunter to slow down Brian, it's going to be pretty huge. Garruk Relentless also playing a huge role in the same regard, being able to come down, kill a mana creature, and then after that being able to just chain off, you know, Angel Serenities or Acidic Slimes after that. So.
Right. And after board, each player will have access to 2 Garruk Relentless.
Yeah, as well as 2 Deathrite Shaman. The Deathrite Shaman from Chris, not exactly a mana accelerator, and I think that that's important to note, is that I actually think that mana accelerators at this point are more important in the Junk Reanimator matchups than Deathrite Shaman. Since everyone is using Acidic Slime, not only that, but plus Fiend Hunter and Garruk Relentless, mana accelerators are just better than keeping your opponent off of Unbearer Rights.
Right, the Reanimator deck, less of a combo deck now and more of just a mid-range value deck.
Yeah. Looks like CVM actually doesn't have access to white mana here, which is a little unfortunate, and he has a Fiend Hunter in hand. He does have another Deathrite Shaman, so he's going to be able to keep Brian off of Unbearer Rights, but it looks like Brian, with his triple mana guy draw, he also has a Garruk Relentless in hand. Wow. This is going to get dirty quick. So I'm pretty sure Garruk's just going to come down, probably fight a Deathrite Shaman, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just made some Wolves, since the Deathrite Shamans aren't particularly doing anything, you know, interesting at the moment, and by killing one, he's not really giving himself the ability to do anything different. Like, you know, killing a Deathrite Shaman when they only have 1 in play turns on all your Unbearer Rights, but killing one when they have 2 in play doesn't accomplish all that much.
Right. I was actually surprised he didn't just start chaining Wolves out, especially since he had no Unburial Rights in hand.
But it's possible he just wants to flip the Garruk, because having a flipped Garruk, not only do you have Death Touch Wolves, so you're able to just trade off with things like Thragtusk or, you know, other creatures of that nature, but you're able to start searching for other things. But now, you know, and this is, you know, the Deathrite Shaman's able to actually just attack here, and now Garruk, you don't really want to sacrifice the Garruk just to go get 1 creature. I think if CVM had played like a Temple Guard and tap there, then I think having the ability to chain to go get Acidic Slime would have been huge, just to kill the white source and keep him off of Restoration Angels and things like that. But CVM looks like he's in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, CVM 3 white cards in hand. It looked like Resto, Serenity, and Fiend Hunter.
Yeah. So it looks like Fiend Hunter is going to come down for Brian, exile the Deathrite Shaman. I mean, that can get pretty easily unlocked at this point if CVM has an Abrupt Decay, but I think at this point, he would just Abrupt Decay the flipped Garrick. And I know CVM's a good enough player to know that the flipped side of a Planeswalker is casting cost 0.
Right.
So Abrupt Decay is able to destroy it, which is actually important. But BBD trying to put in a Jerry Thompson 2020 token instead of the 1/1 Wolf. A little bit of disparity between those power toughnesses.
Jerry T does have Death Touch, but not quite the same.
All right. Is this going to be a brick mulch? Nope. Hits the Godless Shrine. How lucky. I mean, if he had just whiffed completely on that mulch, that would have just been a huge dagger. Yeah, but he is very far behind here. And this is actually an interesting spot because he knows Brian has the ability to sacrifice any of his wolf token to go get Acidic Slime, and then that's going to be able to kill his only white source. So CVM actually makes the correct play, I think, of not playing his white source, so that potentially next turn he can go Godless Shrine and then cast Restoration Angel and potentially kill Garrick the next turn after that.
Right. He has to get something on the board here, and he knows he can't get his only white source blown up by a slime.
Yep. Flip Garrick, you're just seeing it's not even doing anything, but just the threat of having it is just changing the entirety of how Chris is playing the game. You know, just like not attacking or not playing a land when he just is missing a land drop. You know, it's just devastating.
And if you're just joining us here, we're watching Braun-Duin battle Chris VanMeter. Garrick Relentless, Fiend Hunter, and a couple mana elves versus a blank board for Chris VanMeter.
Yeah, and this Junk Grantor matchup is all about resource denial. Braun-Duin was actually very innovative recently. If you read his article from a few weeks ago where he went on an insane run where he top-8'd like 3 PTQs in a row, he top-8'd the Star City Games Invitational, and then he won a PTQ, all in consecutive weeks. And he was just every week playing a new version of Randomator, and he started playing main deck Acidic Slimes, and then it just went on from there, and with the new set coming out, he was probably one of the inspiring forces behind Chris VanMeter's win last week, where Chris was playing main deck Sin Collector and 3 Fiend Hunters, which was not normal in these Junk Reanimator decks.
Right, the Fiend Hunter almost a throwback to when the White Weenie decks were popular with the Honor, the Pures, Dune Travelers. Yep. You don't see them much now.
I mean, people were playing Centaur Healer for the longest time, and I tried it and I just hated it because it would come down, they would either have a Gorkline Rampager or a Searing Spear to kill it, and sure, even if you're able to Searing Spear a Fiend Hunter, you're still able against the aggro decks to at least shrink back down the Champion of the Parish or the Stromkirk Noble. So Fiend Hunter and being able to Restoration Angel, I think, gives you pretty big game against decks that have things like Falconwrath Aristocrat or just gigantic flyers that you couldn't normally deal with. So looks like Brian here, he can potentially trade his Garrick for an Angel of Serenity. I guess he's got to assume that Chris has a Restoration Angel since he didn't play his White Source last turn and then played it this turn with 4 mana. Brian making the best play here, I think, of just attacking with the Acidic Slime. Both players playing very well, I think. This is a treat.
Yeah, they know each other's deck list so well. They know what's important in the mirror match. Just 2 skilled players playing their decks.
Yep. It's unfortunate that the 2 friends had to battle in the first round. So it's funny here. So Brian actually opting, instead of taking out the Restoration Angel with his blink on a Fiend Hunter, decides to blink the Acidic Slime to keep Chris off of white mana. Unbeknownst to him that Chris did have a Temple Garden in hand, but very low on life at this point. All he's got really going is the Acidic Slime. I'm pretty sure Brian's going to lock it up here. If he just attacks with everybody, he gets back a Deathrite Shaman by blocking the Fiend Hunter, but he still takes, 1,000,000 points of damage, so no way out, and that's the match for Brian.
Yep, that's the scoop. Chris VanMeter finds his own Garrick a little too late, finds his White Source a little too late, and he's on the back foot even though he's on the play.
Yep, and again, I think I just want to reiterate that Deathrite Shaman I don't think is as good anymore in the mirror matches as just having mana accelerators.
Right.
It rarely taps for mana. It's not